Yo, what's up? Okay, so my name is Kyle Banks. I run a super cool cold outreach agency. And in the last 4 weeks, 49,000 gross, 36,000 monthly recurring. I do not show that to flex. I show that so that you somewhat take me seriously because all of that revenue is coming from cold outreach, reaching out to somebody who has no idea who I am and somehow convincing them to send me that much money on a monthly basis. All right. So let's say you're a marketing agency and you totally are trying to get way more leads. Okay. So if you want to dabble in cold outreach, which cold outreach is pretty much the cheapest way to grow, in my opinion. So cold outreach can be a variety of things. That could be cold calling, cold DM, cold email, cold text. You have everything I just said, you have access to do for free. That's how cheap it could be. If you want to make serious money, you're going to need to automate it. It's going to make sense to pay for software, so it does cost some sort of money. Nonetheless, let's talk about how to make that work. Offer and data is the key here. So offer and data. So that's assuming that you don't have a deliverability problem, and when you send a message, people are receiving it, okay? So basically, you want to solve for offer and data. I'm going to start with what's the easiest is the data, right? Think about who you serve, right? So if you're a marketing agency, you may want to reach out to roofing contractors as an example. And let's say you wanted to do that. Roofing contractors near me, right? Tons of businesses right here. I want you to think about this in a very simple way. If I was to go to this business, this phone number will probably lead towards the business, right? It would be foolish of them if it didn't, right? So that is good data, except for example, if you're going to be doing cold calls, whatever it may be, that phone number, you want to make sure that they're actually going to be able to receive that message. For example, you want to be able to validate these phone numbers, like this phone number right here. If I plug it in, I can see that this phone number is a voice over internet phone, a VoIP. What you're looking for, what you want is ideally they're mobile. If you're selling to small businesses, your service doesn't cost $1 bazillion a month. To put more realistic number, you charge less than $10,000 a month, whatever, right? You're working with smaller size businesses. You're going to want mobile numbers. That's just super ideal. If someone puts a mobile number on their Google business profile, that's an iPhone or Android, the likelihood that phone number is associated with the decision maker is extremely high. I hope that makes sense. So let's say you're going down the Google business route. You verified that they're mobile numbers. Great. Data solved. Those are accurate phone numbers. Okay. You could scrape Google business. You could do that. There's a lot of resources on how to do that. Solve the offer, right? Offer is way harder than data. That's where the majority of time testing is really going to go into that. Because if I just reach out to you and I say, hey, I could send a bunch of cold emails for you, right? You name it, right? It's just, you need to be so specific in what you are offering. As you can see, I wrote really small here. This is super not, there we go. I can actually move it. So we got pattern interrupt, call to action, specific criteria. These are some things that you can take into consideration when crafting an offer. But ultimately, you want to look at something that is going to be toggling some sort of pain. It's going to be an outcome specific offer. So think about if you're a marketing agency, because I'm going to try and stay on topic. If you're a marketing agency and you're going to articulate some sort of outcome, right? Think about what is the minimum result that you need to bring to somebody where they're like happy that they paid you, right? They're stoked on it, right? You should guarantee that, my opinion, it's a strong opinion. You should guarantee the minimum result that makes somebody happy that they paid you, because that's going to make it really easy to sell people. And hey, if you're like, man, I can't guarantee the minimum result that makes somebody happy, I can't make sure that somebody is going to be happy, that's your problem. It's not the cold outreach. Your problem is that, I hate to say it, you have a problem with what you're selling, that you can't consistently deliver results. Oh, but sometimes my clients suck, right? And you can't deliver results for a pet rock. Yes, that's true. Don't accept money from pet rocks. Don't accept money from people that are impossible to help. I've hopped on calls with people where how long have you been in business? 8 years, and they've never sold anything. Do you think I'm going to be able to help this person? No. Now, might be hard to comprehend that you need to say no to people, and I'm really going into this, but wow, it's so important. You really need to say no to people if you can't help them, right? That's what you need to do. And if you can help them, guarantee results, and your chances of closing the sale will go sky high. Focus on the outcome, focus on the pain. Think about the pain that they're experiencing and try and create an outcome, offer an outcome to them and guarantee that outcome. Make it a low chance of that thing not succeeding. I'm going to show you an example here of what this could look like. We have a client here actually based out of Canada. Things work, cold email, all this stuff, right? It works all across the world. Let's say I click on somebody here. So here's an example offer right here where it goes, I was looking through blank realty, and what stood out to me was your co-hosting of the Red Tape podcast. Very specific. We are being very specific to this person. We're really out the gate trying to come off as if this is not a generic message. Trying to be really specific. That moves. Specific, right? You're going to see that all over the place. If it feels like you have a real point of view on real estate market navigation, we're making them feel like we understand their point of view. And while we're doing this, we're simultaneously developing credibility with this person and trust. I think there's a strong opportunity to turn that into keynote speaking and founder-led content. Great, right? So now we're leading into the pitch here. Would you be interested in doing public speaking for real estate investment conferences, right? This is highly desirable, right? If you're reaching out to the right audience, and in this instance, this is what this agency does. They help people get speaking opportunities through content creation, right? Hey, Zane, I just looked up blank. I see you guys are content creators. And then this is AI that automatically responds. Yeah, content's the tool, but the real play is building your authority in your niche so event organizers come looking. And what this is doing here is that this initial offer is solely focused on getting that first reply. By sending them something that is so valuable, outcome specific, that we're just focusing on getting that first reply. Just making sure this is someone who's interested in your services, rather if you're offering leads, appointments, whatever it is, right? This is about marketing agencies. So people want your services, right? The first message can literally just be like making sure that, hey, do you want this? And you could be more strategic than that, but you get what I'm saying. Just trying to get this first reply. And then from that point, it then is really filtering that person down with the messages to make sure that you're not misleading that person, right? And in clarifying, yes, content's the tool, right? Content has been something that's been on the front of my mind, but put off all the time. And so you can see this AI is really, how do I describe this? It is discovering the pain for this person, where you're not really going to get speaking opportunities without putting out content, right? And that's basically what the AI is trying to articulate right now. Got it. That's actually where most consultants miss the speaking, and the expertise is there, but the visibility isn't. We help build that. That's where your head's at right now. More speaking gigs, more inbound clients with authority, or both. Reaching my local audience to get more real estate work. Great. And the AI, you want it to sound as real as possible. You could respond yourself, whatever, right? Real talk, you've got the expertise. Duh. Our whole thing is building authority through content. The thing that they sell is content. They help people make content. And so it's really making it clear that I think we could do content for you, easier to map this on a 15-minute call. I could show you what content we'd actually build for you, the authority path for your niche, and how that can turn into speaking opportunities worth grabbing a time. Sure, I got 15 minutes. Bam, sends a calendar link, and bada bing, bada boom, they book their appointment. So that is just one particular example, and I can show you more. But basically, what you want to get across is a very specific offer that does not look like it was sent to the masses, right? And something that people can get behind. And then you want AI to then further qualify that person. So I'm going to show you another example here. Great. So we have this offer right here. And you're going to see a lot of similarities here in terms, but it's going to be a different approach, different angle, just showing you some range here. So I help roofing contractor businesses rank on Google. We're being very specific about who we help and what we can do for them, right? And now we're using the name of their business. We can get you on the first page ranking for keywords like blank, right? Giving these different examples. And then this is a statement of credibility. We have generated results like this for many other clients, right? So you can see credibility statement right there. Ranking on these keywords means more calls, increased visibility, and new customers every month. I'd love to show you what's possible. Would you be open to a quick chat? Now, I want to harp on these call to actions, these two call to actions that I've just shown you. What's important to note is that let's say, hey, would you be open for me to audit your existing site? This is super, super common that people will try something like that, right? What are you going to need from me to audit my website, right? What does audit really mean? I don't want to describe how you need to make your call to action as low commitment as possible. And you know what would technically be better? It's not even technically, it would be better than saying, would you be open to a quick chat? Would it be okay if I shared a quick video that explains exactly how I can do this for Nutmeg Roofing? Now, let me tell you why that's awesome. Because if someone says yes to that, what they're saying yes to is to be sent a video for them to make a decision for themselves, right? And so that's really low risk for somebody to say yes to. So when you're thinking about a call to action, think about the commitment that you're asking of somebody. And is it clear what these next steps are going to be? Would you be open to a quick chat? Is just, are you interested in some sort of way? I can share more. I'd love to show you what's possible. Would you be open to a quick chat? And so this person says, do you build websites? Again, this is AI automatically replying. Absolutely, we build and optimize websites. Did you see what? Yes. How much? Now it's providing prices. Sure. Great. What's a good email? And then it sends a calendar link. The AI is helping this person with the appointment. Boom, they book. And if we fast forward a little bit, this person has actually signed everything and has paid and blah, blah, blah. So this is an example. Hey, cold outreach totally works, right? Well, all that good stuff. But I want to note that basically you're having, these are certain examples of things that you can have, right? A pattern interrupt can be a matter of just your message coming off. When somebody reads it, they're like, this does not look like a normal message that I'm receiving, right? This is, you want to come off different intentionally. Don't say hi, don't say hello. Oh my comment. Say hey. If you're gonna introduce yourself, say hey. If you're gonna say you want to, I was just walking my dog and I was about to call an Uber, but then for some reason I just thought to go to your website. I'm just giving an example. Do not sound like everybody else. Sound different. You need to be so specific, and your specificity needs to be around an outcome. So important. And think about, like, when you're saying this outcome, you can't just say, hey, I'll double your money. It'll be great, right? You don't just want to say some sort of outcome. You need to make sure that sounds realistic. And so that's where credibility statement can come in. You want to think about, when you're offering something, does that sound realistic to the typical person? Adjectives can just be a way of making something go quicker, like of describing something, so you're not using as many characters. And quantifiable result / a risk reversal. With TaskBlink, we say, hey, we guarantee a minimum of 3 new client meetings within your first month. Now you can then take, okay, how much do I earn per client? Let's say that number is 3,000. Let's say 1 in 5 of your appointments convert to a closed deal, right? So 1 in 5 result in 3,000. Thus, each appointment is $600. So 3 appointments is $600 times 3. That's $1,800 within 1 month. So if we're charging less than $1,800 a month, then you can make a profit by using our services. So when I say quantifiable result, you're giving somebody the information they need to know about that outcome to be able to make a decision, right? It's also a risk reversal, right? Because you could say this result or you don't pay, right? And now you're entering the realm of making someone feel stupid for saying no. Easy to engage, call to action, right? So now let me walk you through this. If you know for a fact that this data is leading towards business data that is 100% accurate, you have reason to believe that this information was put out by the business owner saying, contact me here, or for whatever the reason may be, right? And you know that information is accurate. You have a method of verifying what type of email, what type of phone number, so on and so forth, that this is, right? And you know that the people you're reaching out to are the people that could be potential clients of your service. You have solved data. And then if you offer something that they want, with a very high likelihood that it will work, or at least a very low risk of learning more, very low risk of saying yes, right? The same way that if somebody offered to you, I'll give you an example of a magazine, right? Let's say you are a marketing agency and your marketing agency specific for roofing contractors, and a magazine reaches out to you and they say, hey, we are a magazine publishing, and most of our subscribers are owners of roofing contractors, and we want to feature the best marketing agencies of Florida in 2026. We really want to feature you. Would that be okay? Now, if you're hearing this, you're like, yeah, and you're going to respond, because what's the downside in responding to that? You know the upside. If what they're saying, they mention the name of their business, you look it up, that's a real magazine, and what they're saying is true. What's the risk of saying no? Now you just replied yes, and next thing you know, you just became a lead, and now they're trying to sell you ad placement in that magazine. Now they're trying to sell you space in that magazine. And that just gives you an example of, if you're offer specific and you're reaching to an audience that you can actually help, right? And you make them feel stupid for not replying, right? That is where everything is offer data, right? Data is pretty easy if you think about it, as long as you can look at the contacts and be like, yep, these are all people that I could sell something to. Great. And then you just want to offer something that's hyper specific. I'm starting to loop a little bit here, but hyper specific, high likelihood that this is actually going to work, very minimal downside. And I really can't stress enough, you're like, Kyle, I cannot do this. I cannot make it low risk. I can't guarantee that what I sell them works. That's why nobody's going to buy it, right? Think about it, right? And if you have it, and it's a different story if you have just a dump truck of evidence and case studies and videos of people vouching for you, right? Totally different. Do you have that? No? Think about it then. Nobody's vouching for you. There's nowhere. They want to believe you. I can't stress this enough. They want to believe you. You're offering them leads. You're offering them something that you know that they want, right? They want to believe you. Make it easy for them to believe you, and punish yourself if you don't deliver the result, right? Until you've earned this undeniable credibility, you really need to offer a guarantee. That's my very strong opinion on this subject, from running different offers across the board. Make people feel stupid and it will work. Yeah, I'm going to cover more videos on this topics. There's obviously more that goes into this, as you can tell. I hope you gained some value from this and are kind of getting some ideas. And I will also note that if you want to talk with me, directly with me, about your offer and your data, and you want to learn more about how I could potentially help you, TaskBlink.com, like completing a task in the blink of an eye. Schedule a call. I'd be happy to speak with you. I could show you more than just what you're seeing in this video. Do all the cool influencer stuff, subscribe, comment, interact with the page, do all that fancy stuff. My goal here is to provide as much value as possible. Yeah, that's the plan, and that's the end of the video.